So, if you are learning English online and are looking for tips on how to get better, then stick around till the end because I am going to share with you how I learn English online on my own and how you can as well. So let's get started. So I learn English online all by myself without taking any English courses or anything like that. Well, I did learn some basic English at school, as most of us did, I believe. But everything else I learned was all by myself. I want to start by saying that learning a new language is a process that takes time. So be patient with yourself. Set realistic goals and celebrate your progress along the way. Stay motivated by reminding yourself of why you wanted to learn English in the first place. And keep practicing regularly. This is very important. There is one thing that changed my English journey. This is what I did. I found native English speakers online who wanted to learn my native language. It was perfect and it worked. If I had not done that, I probably would not speak English as well as I do right now. So I could very well end this video here by saying the easiest way to learn English online is by finding native English speakers who want to learn your native language. This way you can help each other and it won't be a burden. My English changed drastically after I began to speak to those people online regularly. And in my opinion, this is definitely the easiest and the fastest way to improve your English speaking online. What do you need to speak English fluently, right? To improve your speaking. The first thing that I think you need is to learn English grammar. Well, I knew basic grammar. The second thing you need is to learn English vocabulary. I knew many words. I kept a list of many words. The third thing is you need to practice your listening skills. I used to listen to music all the time and study the lyrics. That was very helpful. And number 4, you need to practice your speaking skills. This is what I was lacking. If you get extremely good at these 4 skills, you'll get extremely good at English. So, are you up for the challenge? So why do you need to learn English grammar? You need to learn English grammar so that you can communicate in English properly. There are many people out there who can speak English, but because they don't know English grammar, they are not able to communicate grammatically correctly. Now, some people are in favor of studying grammar and others are not. Others are against it. So I, for one, studied English grammar and I would recommend it because it helped me tons. You can also learn English grammar by reading short stories using different verb tenses and stuff like that. I would recommend that you learn different tenses and build sentences using those sentences because we use them all the time. It does not matter what method you use to learn English grammar, but you have to learn it. You can't avoid it. It's really important. We use grammar to communicate properly. English grammar is not very complex, so you should pick it up fairly easily. It's essential that you learn at least some basic grammar rules. If you study English grammar even for 10 minutes every day, you will learn very quickly. You need to learn new words so that you can use them when you speak with other people, and also because you need to understand what people mean when they use those words. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know all the words in the English language. This is not humanly possible. I mean, there are many English words that I do not know, but it's okay. What do I do when I'm speaking to someone or reading something and I don't understand the meaning of a word or expression or a phrasal verb or a slang word? Well, if I'm speaking to someone face to face or by voice call, I ask them for the meaning of the word they used. Simple enough. Do you have the courage to do that? I began to make great progress with my English when I started asking people to explain the meaning of the things that they say. It's simple. I mean, it shouldn't be that complicated. On the other hand, if I'm reading something online, I just look it up in a dictionary. It's not that hard. The easiest way to learn new words, learning English online, is by finding someone to speak with regularly and by reading books and articles. I would recommend that you keep a journal. so that you can write down all the words and the phrases and expressions that you encounter that you don't know. This is very important. This way, you'll have to use the grammar rules and new words that you've been learning. Awesome. This is a great way to memorize new words and practice your grammar skills. You can start with everyday words and phrases that you're likely to use in conversations. Common words including greetings, say hello, basic stuff that you already know, but you can expand on that. So learn colors, basic verbs and stuff like that. Did you know that you have to hear before you can actually speak? If you want to be able to speak English fluently, if you want to improve your speaking skills, you must do all that I covered before. But one of the most important skills is listening. That's how you learn how people speak in real life, how they pronounce certain words, the intonation, the accent, and so on. If your listening is poor, your speaking will in turn be poor. So you have to listen to English as much as possible. I would suggest every day. This is how we all learn to speak, right? First we listen, we hear other people speak around us, and then afterwards we speak. So listening comes before speaking. Listen to English audio materials like podcasts, audiobooks, radio shows. The options are endless. Start with slow-paced content or material designed for English learners. Don't go and start with something really complicated that you will not understand. Pay attention to the intonation, rhythm, and stress patterns in spoken English. This is very important as well. It will help you have a cool accent like me. Yes. Well done, Bruno. Well, many people can't improve their speaking skills because they are afraid to speak English, and also because they are not training their ears. So if this sounds like you need to change this today, right now. I mean, it's okay to feel a bit afraid to speak to people in another language, in a new language. I totally get it. I've been there, remember? Yeah, Bruno? But if I'm here today making this video entirely in English, fluently and confidently, it means that one day I was in your shoes, but I chose to overcome my fear to speak English and not let it get in my way. Well, to make things worse, I have a stammer. Now think about that. This is exactly what you have to do. You have to overcome the fear to speak English, because in order for you to improve your speaking skills, you have to open your mouth and talk as much as possible for as long as possible. Unfortunately, there is no other way. I'm sorry. I know it's easier said than done, but everybody who can speak English fluently as a second language have had to go through the same thing you're going through right now. So you're not unique. The first thing I did that really helps me to learn new words is something that you are probably doing already, which is listening to music. Listening to music is a great way to practice your listening skills. So if this is something that you have been doing already, just keep doing it. Well, today there are many more ways to train your ears than back then when I started learning English. So if your listening is not good, it's because maybe you're not working hard enough. Well, along with listening to music, you can listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. I mean, yeah, the options are endless, really. Now, if you can understand what people say, but when you have to speak, you get stuck and you go, I mean, you can't get a word out, then you have to practice your speaking more often, obviously, right? I know you have heard this before, but I'm going to say it again so that it sticks in your head. The more time you spend practicing your speaking, the better you will get at speaking any language, including English. A lot of people who learn English are afraid to make mistakes when they speak, and this leads to them avoiding speaking, which in turn hinders their progress. I know how it feels like. It's horrible. You must understand that everybody makes mistakes in English, so it's not just you. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. Nobody laughs or makes fun of them or anything like that. If you make mistakes in English when you speak, you shouldn't feel embarrassed about it, because making mistakes is what will help you improve. Think of kids. They aren't afraid to make mistakes. They learn by imitating other kids around them at school. And believe me, they do not care about making mistakes at all. When I was learning English, I wanted to speak perfect English. And when I moved here to England, I changed my mind completely. You want to know why? Because I learned that in real life, people don't care if you speak perfect English or broken English. They just don't care. This is what they do care about: understanding what you say. So if you speak broken English or make grammar mistakes or pronunciation mistakes, it's cool. You're working hard. You're trying. You're trying. That's the best. That's the only thing that you can do. Try. So don't get so upset or discouraged by those mistakes. It's all part of the process. It's good to work on your pronunciation so that you can communicate clearly. I'm not against that. I'm in favor of that. It's all good. This is important so that people can understand you more easily. But don't get frustrated because your pronunciation is not perfect. It will never be. But believe me, as long as you can communicate, you will be fine. That's all people care about. The idea that native speakers won't understand you unless you speak perfect English is nonsense, not true. Practice speaking English daily, even if it's just repeating phrases after native speakers or talking to yourself in front of a mirror. You just need to open your mouth and talk. I mean, just the only thing I can say is just you need to talk more. You need to talk more English. You need to speak more English if you want to improve it, right? So focus on correct pronunciation and fluency. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. Just speak, talk, just find people and talk. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. This is critical. Watch English movies and TV shows without subtitles. Listen to English music and try to think in English. I know this is hard, but just try, give it a try. Immersion helps reinforce what you've learned and improves your language skills naturally. It just happens naturally. I can't remember a point in time where I became fluent. It just happens naturally, believe me. Believe me, I know many people who have lived in England for many, many years, but can't speak English well. Like, they just get by, which is not good enough in my opinion. If you want to be able to speak properly and good English, you need to work hard. It's not easy. You want to know why they can't speak English well, even though they have lived in England for many, many years? It's because they don't speak English often enough. On the other hand, I know people who have moved here and could not speak any English and learn fairly quickly because they were around native speakers all the time and had a chance to speak and hear English all the time. So the key to speaking English fluently, the key to improving your speaking English is just one word: just practice. Practice, practice, that's it. I know that if you learn English online, it's hard, but just find people, because the more you practice, the better you will become at speaking it. I know how you feel, so I know how I've been there. You see, I am confident in my English. However, there is room for improvement. My English is good, but it's not as good as I want it to be. Even though people praise me all the time for my outstanding English, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. This means a lot to me. I mean, especially coming from native speakers, right? I mean, it's a compliment. I think that if I lived with native speakers and spoke English like 24/7, like all the time, every day, my English would be way better than it is right now. I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is that it is good, but it's not that good. Well, yeah, whatever. Learning English online is extremely difficult, but if you work hard, it will be worth it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.